Hey everybody, Mr. Bone here, and I'm going to give you some tips and ideas for your time during this extended break. And you'll notice in Classroom that Mrs. Pedley and I have posted a link and some instructions for Edgenuity. We're going to be working on an Australia unit. Now, I know that might seem a little bit odd because that's not in your normal book, but at the end of each year, we cover Australia back out of the seventh grade book. So this is a great time to get that part done. And so we're going to cover many of the parts of Australia here, as you can see on the side: physical features, climate, political geography, cultural characteristics, natural resources, and so on. So we'll be diving pretty deeply into Australia here for this 2-week period. Now, the good news is there are really just 5 sections, I guess you could say, if you want to talk about it like our normal textbook. And each one, you see here, like the physical features, you're going to have some vocabulary that you're going to have to learn. They'll have a lecture. Each one's about a half an hour that you watch and listen to the lecture. There's some online stuff to do. You can think of this maybe like your assignment, like an RITP or something, and some practice. Then you'll have a quiz over each section. At the end of the whole thing, you will have a test. So during this time, when you're listening to the lecture, when you're going through the units, you can take electronic notes. They're called e-notes. The nice thing is then on the quizzes and tests, you can use those e-notes. So that's a pretty good incentive for you to take really good notes, pay good attention, and all that kind of stuff. Now, the way this is set up, you do get retakes, but don't waste them. Once you're out of retakes, we don't have any other choice. We have to reset the whole class. So you'd have to start the whole class over again if you run out of retakes. So do the best you can on your first time through. If you find that it does catch you up and you didn't quite get it, then you can retake. Now, also, a catch with this is that the passing level has been set to 60%. That's a D minus. That's a little bit different than the way it normally works. Normally, if you get below a 70, you can retake it. This is going to be set to 60 so that it doesn't just keep catching up everybody. So if you want better than that, you need to make sure your first time through you do really well. Because if you get over a 60, it doesn't give you the option to retake it. So if you really bomb it, then yes, you can retake it. But if you get anything over a 60%, it's just going to push you on to the next level. So make sure if you want good grades on this, that you do your best the very first time through. So as you go through this, if you haven't been in Edgenuity yet, and like I said on the Classroom, I see that already there are a lot of people doing not only this, but their science as well. So most of you this is going to be like a rerun for you, but there is a video to watch when you first log into Edgenuity. Just kind of shows you how to get around in it, how to navigate back and forth. I see, or Mrs. Pedley and I will see your dashboard each time we log in. We'll see if there's any concerns and questions and people who haven't been doing stuff and people who have been doing stuff and so on and so on. My recommendation, and if this changes, we will let you know. But I think right now, what I'm doing in 7th grade is I'm putting this onto 4th marking period. I would like you to get all of your 3rd marking period stuff caught up for 3rd marking period. Now that ends March 27th. So by March 27th, you want to make sure you have all of your homework, all your RITPs, any of the charts that we did, all that stuff made up, caught up, redone. If you want to redo a test that we did in class, do one of the test options, send that to us, and then we can send you the link to the retake. If you haven't taken a test yet, I know a lot of you were gone the last week before we got out. We'll make sure you got your homework done, and then you go ahead and you can take your test. And then let us know, email us so that we know that those things have been done. We're still not going to go through everybody's accounts and look to see if there's happened to be any changes that day. So let us know what those things are in the email. Now, the reason I don't usually, now Mrs. Pedley's class, you can plug your ears if you want, but the reason I don't usually do the email notification, and I like the slips of paper idea, the slips of paper we do, is because if I get 100 emails during normal time, during this time, I'm going to get 150 emails every day, and your email may have got trapped in that and pushed down to the next page, and I never even saw it. So for me, if you email me and say, Mr. Bone, I took this test or I did this or whatever, and in the next 24 hours, you don't see that change in Skyward, you're going to probably want to email me again and say, hey, I emailed you once, you must have not seen it. Here's what I did. So try to have a little patience with that, because with all the students, 6th and 7th grade for me and 6th and 8th grade for Mrs. Peddley, having to communicate with email, it is going to fill up our boxes pretty quickly, and emails are going to get pushed all over the place. So if you need to restate the email, please make sure you do that. So in 6th grade, in this unit, we have 5 sections here. Now, that doesn't mean that, out of the 10 days that we're gone, that you should wait till next week to do this. It's still, even though it's only 5 sections, it still is almost 10 hours worth of work for our 10 days that we're gone. So don't try to get them all done in one shot. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that if you want to start working on it and it's just kind of getting into a groove and it's working for you and you want to do 2 or 3 of them or whatever, you can do that if you're doing it the next couple of days, but don't put off the whole thing until spring break. Okay. Make sure you're still getting stuff done. But again, catch up on anything that we did in class. This is a perfect time to be doing that and letting us know about it. Try to set up your Google Classroom so that it notifies you when something changes. So whether it's Mrs. Peddley or myself or Mr. Wachowski or whoever is putting something on Classroom, you get notified. I know a lot of you already do that on your phones, but if you haven't, have it send you a notification to your phone. Because I know that many of you don't check your email nearly as often as us old people do. So you do have your phone with you, and if it dings on that, you're probably going to see it. Other than that, I think that was everything on my list that I needed to do. Again, if things change, we'll send another video. Maybe next time it would be Mrs. Peddley's job to do it. We'll see what happens on that. But otherwise, we will see you guys later. Enjoy the time that you have off, and make sure you're getting your work done too. See ya.